The real reason why you only ever hear about a certain small group of wild animals like elephants, lions, and giraffes is way more fascinating than you think. When I mention wild animals, what comes to your mind? You're probably thinking of monkeys, elephants, giraffes, lions, tigers, zebras, and a short list of other animals that seem to have wormed their way into the collective consciousness in the US. But why? I've often wondered to myself why some animals get all the marketing and there are thousands of other species that nobody ever talks about and they just, for whatever reason, haven't become household names. What about klipspringers or tapirs or coatis or bontiboks or okapis, which you've probably never heard of in your entire life, and I'm honestly probably not even pronouncing correctly. There's actually a very specific reason why you only ever think of that handful of animals, and it's because they're smart enough to learn how to do stunts. Prior to the Industrial Revolution of the late 1700s and early 1800s, people in the United States basically knew nothing about exotic animals from other countries. Movies didn't exist, there were no nature documentaries, and international travel was relegated to only the most wealthy amongst us. So we basically knew nothing about other countries at all. This all changed with the industrialization of the railroad system, which made mass travel throughout the United States much easier. And amongst the many industries that cropped up around the industrialization of the railways was the traveling circus, an idea that was created in 1928 by J. Purdy Brown. The idea was to use the railway system to transport a large troupe of acrobats, sideshow freaks, and other performers across the country to perform from the east to the west coast. And another aspect of these shows was to put exotic animals from far-off continents like Africa and Asia on display for people to see. Outside of more indigenous American species like bears, deer, and mountain lions, this was the first time that many Americans were seeing wild animals in their lives. Circuses became insanely popular in the 1800s, and a side effect of this popularity was that the animals shown in them became most Americans' entire conception of what animals existed throughout the world. But why those ones specifically? Well, it was because they were big, they were ferocious, and they were also smart enough to be easily trained to do tricks and stunts. Yes, the circuses of the 1800s exclusively chose which animals to import from other countries based on how smart they were and whether or not they could jump through flaming hoops and ride on unicycles. The popularity of circuses throughout the 1800s and 1900s created a feedback loop of saturation with this specific list of animals. They were turned into merchandise that was sold to children. Animal crackers were invented and sold. And that specific list of animals just kind of stuck. But, axolotls are having a good couple of years. And real quick, if you like my videos and you want to see more in-depth writing from me, you can do that here.